Good morning, good evening, good night. So that backwards again. My brain's all in a tizzy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Always somewhere. Um, on the basis of sex, international trailer. I enjoyed the domestic trailer for On the Basis of Sex. So let's just take a look at it.
Which one makes me look more like a Harvard man?
I'm thrilled to report that you look nothing like a Harvard man.
You came into my life.
Welcome to Harvard Law School.
I'm Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
And why are you here, Miss Ginsburg? Occupying a place that could have gone to a man.
You're the smartest person here, so just say what you know.
Mr. Fitzpatrick.
Last week, I was told women are too emotional to be lawyers.
You can't quit.
One interviewer told me they hired a woman last year, and what in the world would they want with two of us?
You're angry. Good. Use it.
There are 178 laws that differentiate on the basis of sex. There are laws that say women can't work overtime. Get credit cards in our husband's name.
We're not allowed to
Women
fly
police are not allowed to work in mines.
Why would you want to?
What's not the point? We should be allowed. I'm going to convince the courts that those laws are unconstitutional. I don't read tax court cases.
Read this one.
The law assumes a caregiver has to be a woman. This is sex-based discrimination against a man.
So, Judge was wrong?
Mr. Martz, the law is wrong.
They think gender equality is a civil right.
You must see the opportunity this case represents for men and women both.
You will lose, Ruth. And when you do, you will set the women's movement back 10 years.
You don't get to tell me when to quit.
We should look to her generation. They're taking to the streets, demanding change.
You would do well to remember this is a privilege.
It is not a privilege, it is a cage, and these laws are the bars.
We're never giving up.
You're ready for this. You've been ready for this your whole life.
We all must take these laws on, one by one. This could topple the whole damn system of discrimination.
The word woman does not appear even once in the U.S. Constitution.
Nor does the word freedom, Your Honor.
Which is very true.
This Geico ad is intended only for...
Okay. So, as I said in my first one, I mean, that looks really good. Yet again, based on a true story, so that makes it more interesting to me. And, especially anything that when it's talking about the rights of people, be it the individual or as a whole, is, I think, something that always needs to be seen and explored. The fight for equality, for righteousness. People always, as I'm sure they yelled back then, I mean, as a black male, people, didn't look at African Americans or just people of color, be they, African descent, Latin descent, or whatever, be it black, brown, yellow, red, or whatnot. They see something different and they don't equate that as human or the same as whatever. And that's always been something that's like, what is wrong with people? Or what is wrong with us as human beings where that's one of our first things we don't, understand or want to understand what is different, and so we're going to label it or degrade it or downgrade it, as you will. And my point is, saying that these are not human. Again, slave trade, indentured servants, people that were, and of course women in general, as not even at first second class citizens, not even treated really as any citizens, and it took a while to even get up to second class. And then, again, of course, where this takes place, more the fight for equality, you know, it's just so mind-boggling at times. And the question, be it, again, I'm saying that, ethnicity, gender, or preference, even now, which is, a more recent thing, gay rights, again, female equal rights beforehand, and of course, rights as a person, for African Americans, Latinos, yada yada yada. It's just mind-boggling to think that things some people would have had to go through to get what is innately as a human being there. I mean, who can determine? I mean, how is it that through history people have been able to determine, oh, you can't have this right, or you're not the same as me, you can't feel the same way as me because you don't look like I do, or you don't think like I do, or, and this may be silly to say, but, I think it's summed up greatly in a lyric from Disney's Pocahontas, Colors of the Wind. It says, "You think the only people who are people are the people who look and think like you." And, that's how history has been, and it's just freaking ridiculous. So, the battles, the strides that people such as Miss Ginsburg have had to make on behalf of others to facilitate that change, to bring it around, it's just always amazing to think about and to look at when, again, you would hope as human beings, that's not even a question someone should even think of, but obviously it is people not recognizing another living being as having rights or saying like equality. It was like, oh, why should they think they're equality right? Because they're a human being, they're living, breathing, just like you are. And I know this is a whole rant, but anyways, yeah, I'm very excited and interested to to see this film. And of course, to see how Felicity Jones portrays Ruth. I mean, we see this in the trailer, her character, her commitment, and again, in contrast with you look at Kathy Bates, how she makes a comment. You should look at the younger generation. They're taking to the streets where sometimes violence has had to be used as a tool of change, but it shouldn't. Again, you should think as thinking beings, we should not have to resort to things like violence, protesting in general. I mean, it's, getting your thoughts out and whatever, especially, nonviolent, it's whatever it is. But, you know, why is it that people have to resort to such drastic measures? Why we as human beings can't get this? It's just beyond me. And, again, it's something that unfortunately continues and unfortunately keeps being tied mainly into political issues. Not that I'm not an extremely political person, in general, having had my opinions on this and that. But when it comes to injustice, and you wrap that into political issues, obviously those are problems that need to be changed. And again, it boils down to something like what is said, one of the last things in the domestic trailer and in this, that where the judge says, he tries to justify things as like Ms. Gainsbourg, that the word woman is not mentioned once in the Constitution, which is supposed to be, as an American, the document we hold above all else, we use to judge above all else for fairness, for our, determine our freedoms, what is right and whatnot. And as she rightly says, neither is the word freedom. The thing that our country, our culture is supposed to be based on, the overall document that our laws and everything, and the amendments and things that we've made through times is supposed to reflect that equality, that freedom and justice. And to that point, I mean, I'm going to say I'm not sure if it's even ever has been in the way that it's written, like included. I have to go back and look. I would hope that it has at this point. But to that point, if not still, to not even literally have that word in there is weird. I mean, to think again, like I said, that's what we've based all these things, all this, again, the freedom of religion, freedom to do this, freedom to do that, and it's never once in there. It's kind of weird and kind of ironic. So, anyways, I'm sorry. That was my little rant. Again, this looking very very forward to seeing this. So as always, please feel free to share, subscribe, give a like, Hopefully, there's nothing that causes a dislike. And let me know what you think as far as from what you've seen on the basis of sex, my rant, or just any thoughts in general are appreciated. As always, thanks for watching.